Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coachpeanut and the Nutty Bunch Sports Talk Show. This is our first ever episode. This show is going to be covering a variety of sports, but the main focus will be baseball, except for tonight, because we got the NFL kicking off this coming Thursday. So we're going to dedicate this show to a NFL kickoff prediction show. Remember, everybody, that this show is brought to you by our mothership sponsor, the Blue Collar Media Group out of Texas. So they're making this possible. Also tonight, I have Jeremy Holland with me tonight. What's up, Jeremy?
Going on, man?
Not much, man. Just got off work and ready to do this. We had some other people that was going to be here tonight, but work kind of got in the way of a few people. So it's going to be me and Jeremy doing it tonight. We're going to see what we can talk about. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to break down each division of what we think is going to happen. I've got a few questions we're going to go over in each division. We'll get it started with the AFC East. So last season, AFC East, we had Buffalo winning the division at 13-3. We also had Miami at 10-6, New England at 7-9, and New York at 2-14. So with that being said, Buffalo, we're going to break down them first. They added Emmanuel Sanders. They added Matt Breida, Mitch Trubisky. They drafted Marquez Stevenson, and they only lost John Brown. So they won the division. Didn't really lose a lot. Give me 1 second here. I got to add Joel here. What's up, Joel?
Oh,
hey,
what's up?
We just got started, so you didn't miss really anything. We're just going to cover the AFC East first. So basically, we had I just went over it with their standings from last year. So I talked about what Buffalo gained and lost. Miami, all they did was basically they drafted Jalen Waddle and they picked up Will Fuller. They lost Ryan Fitzpatrick, linebacker Kyle Van Noy, and they lost their starting center, Ted Carreras, who never missed a snap for him last season. New England, they added Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, linebacker Matthew Judon, and they drafted Mac Jones, who, of course, is going to be their starter because they lost Cam Newton and Julian Edelman. The Jets, they added Zach Wilson, Tevin Coleman, Corey Davis. They drafted Elijah Moore and running back Michael Carter. The only people they lost was Sam Darnold and Frank Gore. So, guys, did anybody do anything that you think can overtake Buffalo?
No.
Nobody?
No,
Nobody?
No, Buffalo's going to take the division. If you ask my brother, he'd probably take different, but, you know.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So, besides Buffalo, then, since everybody thinks Buffalo's going to win the division, who's taking second?
I think the Dolphins are.
You think the Dolphins? Over the Patriots?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd have to say that's a toss-up. I mean, it could go either way. It depends on a few games, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely Jets in fourth, but between the Dolphins and Patriots, I think it's going to be a toss-up. I think either team could be a wild card team, and possibly, you know, but I definitely think the Bills could be a 1-2 seed in the AFC.
So the Bills are definitely good. My prediction is going to be Buffalo at 13-4. I have the Patriots going 10-7, Miami going 9-8, and the Jets going 4-13. I mean, the Miami and New England could go either way, like you said. I mean, there's always a surprise team every year. There's always surprise games. I think the Patriots, their talent is a little bit better than what the Dolphins is right now because Tua looked great last year in certain games, but then he also looked horrible in a few games. So it's like you don't know for sure. Which brings me to my second topic on that division. Is Mac Jones the answer in New England? What do you guys think about him?
I think it says a lot that they cut him and made him the starter already.
Right. I think nobody's thinking that he's going to be the next Tom Brady right off the bat. Nobody's trying to say that. Nobody needs him to be Tom Brady right off the bat this year. They need him just to come in and not lose the games instead of trying to actually come in and win the games, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, they've got a lot of talent around him. Their defense is getting better. I just think that he's going to be better this year just based on he doesn't have to come in and try as hard being the Patriots. You know, the Patriots are always good anyway.
Yeah, just manage the game and not turn the ball over.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. Did we lose Joel?
Looks like he's froze.
might be. But that's it. That's basically it in that division. Unless you guys have anything else you want to add on those other teams. I mean, there's not a lot to say about the Jets. I mean, they've got a good young core going. I mean, like you say, you replace Sam Darnold with Zach Wilson. They drafted Elijah Moore to replace Frank Gore. Michael Carter to replace Frank Gore, and they draft Elijah Moore. So, I mean, Elijah Moore is going to be good. I think they've got a good young team, but they're still 2 or 3 years away from even talking about being up there in the top. Buffalo is just heads and tails. But yeah, Buffalo is really good.
Did you see what Tony Romo said about Zach Wilson, though?
Yeah, what they compare him to? The next
Mahomes.
Yeah, I did see that. You don't know about these young quarterbacks. You really don't. I mean,
right.
Give them 2 or 3 years in the league, then let's start comparing them because, I mean, nobody knew what Mahomes was going to be either. I still remember Mike Golick, saying that Kansas City made a mistake by putting Mahomes in there when they did, and that they're going to ruin his career. But I'm pretty sure his career's turning out pretty good so far.
Yeah, quite well for himself.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that's really all I got on the AFC East. Joel, you got anything else on those teams? I see you're back now. You all right? No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I got my charger.
That's all right.
No,
couple things.
I heard pieces. The Chiefs are taking it. I mean, Chargers will probably be a wild card team. I don't think anyone else will compete.
Yeah, we'll get to those other teams. We'll get to those other divisions. A couple things. Josh Allen. I did want to bring up about Josh Allen. Do you think he can actually have a better year than what he did last year? I mean, if you think about it, the first 2 years in the league, he had 30 touchdowns. Last year alone, he had 37 touchdowns. He's actually got 3 NFL records already, and he's got 12 Buffalo passing records already, career touchdown. I mean, in his 3rd season, he's already got 12 Buffalo passing. He's got the most touchdowns most touchdowns passing and rushing in a season with 46, more than any Buffalo quarterback ever did. Most passing touchdowns in a season with 37. The most passing yards in a season with 4,544 already. I mean, this is 2.5 seasons he's been the starter already. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, he's turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll go to the AFC North, which most of us are fans of one of the teams, So we're going to start with what happened last year. Pittsburgh went 12-4, won the division. Baltimore was second at 11-5, and Cleveland was third at 11-5 because of a tiebreaker. The Bengals were 4-11-1. So Pittsburgh, the only significant player they added was Najee Harris, their running back out of Alabama. They lost James Conner, so that's kind of a wash there. They lost Bud Dupree. They lost their starting cornerback, Mike Helton, who led the team in interceptions with 3 last year. They lost their starting center with Marquise Pouncey, so that's going to hurt. Baltimore, they added Sammy Watkins. They added an offensive tackle, Alejandro Villanueva, and they got Rashard Bateman, the wide receiver. They lost, not by losing off the team, J.K. Dobbins this year. They lost their starting offensive tackle, Orlando Brown, Willie Snead, and Matthew Judon, the linebacker. The Browns added Jadeveon Clowney, Takaris McKinley from Atlanta, the safety John Johnson from the Rams. They drafted Anthony Schwartz and Greg Newsome. They did lose Sheldon Richardson, Larry Ogunjobi, and Olivier Vernon, who had 9 sacks last year. So that, losing Vernon, getting Clowney, we'll have to see how that works out if Clowney can stay healthy. The Bengals, they added offensive tackle Riley Reif. They got defensive end Trey Hendrickson, who had 13.5 sacks last year. They got Jamar Chase. They'll get, hopefully, a healthy Joe Burrow back. They did lose A.J. Green. They lost defensive end Carl Lawson, cornerback William Jackson, and defensive tackle Geno Atkins. So the first question I have for you guys in that division, is this Big Ben's curtain call?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
Getting up there in age?
So. I think this is going to be one of his last years.
Yeah.
I think last year, the season, he proved it, man. Look at he can't throw past 15 yards.
Yeah, he's what didn't they start like 9-0 last year or something like? I mean, they had
and you just they added a game. I mean, Big Ben. It's another season. Wait till he gets 6-7 games in. He's gonna show that he's not like Brady. He doesn't take care of himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So speaking of Big Ben, just to throw it out there, he does have 16 NFL records. I didn't realize that until I started looking at this. Just a few. I'm not going to name them all, but he has the most regular season wins in one season by a rookie with 13. He has the most wins as a starting quarterback in the first 5 seasons that he played, 51 wins in his first 5 seasons. He's the first quarterback to ever start 2 AFC championship games or NFC championship games in the first 2 seasons in the NFL. The youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. And he has he's the only quarterback in the history to ever throw 6 touchdowns in 2 consecutive games. So, I mean, he's got a lot of records on it. I won't go, like I said, I'm not going to go over them all. But, I mean, he's definitely established up as a potential Hall of Fame quarterback.
There's no doubt in that.
Yeah, as much as all 3 of us all hate him, trust me, we all do.
Right. But I'm not saying like Peyton Manning's not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but at one point he's there's a time where you're just I think it's time to pull the reins on the little horse and say it's time.
Yeah. So the other question I have for you guys in this division, can the Browns win the first division title since 1989? Were you guys even born in 89 yet?
I was.
Was you? Okay. I know, Joel, I didn't think you had. But, I actually remember that. Back when it was not the AFC North, it was the AFC Central, and we had the Houston Oilers in the division and the Steelers and the Bengals.
Yep. Really?
So that's how long it's been since the Browns have won a division. Yes.
That.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys got a great year.
Yeah. I mean, they have no excuse, and I mean, unless injuries come along. I mean, name a weakness that the Browns actually have this year going into the season. Where are they weak at?
They probably have the best roster in the league.
They could. Now that doesn't mean they're going to beat the Chiefs, but on paper, I'd like to know who has a better roster than the Browns. I mean, just
I'm picking them to win the division this year.
I've got them winning the division at 12-5, Baltimore at 11-6, Pittsburgh at 10-7, and the Bengals at 6-11. I really think the Bengals are going to do better than that, but I went game by game and broke it all down, and what do you guys? What's your standings in this division, Joel? What do you got?
I think it'll be the Browns will win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and then I actually think the Bengals are going to be a wild card team.
They could. They really could. It's going to take a lot. I mean, they didn't do a lot with that offensive line, but
I think that the Bengals are going to be a team moving upward, and they're going to be a wild card team. They're going to finish above the Ravens, and the Steelers will finish last in the division.
I can see that. I mean, I can see the Bengals. Seriously, it was really hard to even have them at 6-11 because I think they're a better team than that. And Baltimore, I think they've had so many injuries. They just lost their backups running back now, so they're working out Le'Veon Bell and someone else.
Well, I saw they just signed Le'Veon Bell.
Did they sign him? Okay, and I mean, 5 years ago that would have been huge, but he hasn't done a lot since he's left Pittsburgh. He really hasn't.
Right.
So, Jeremy, what do you got in this division? How's your standings looking?
Well, I've got Cleveland 11-6, Baltimore 10-7. The Steelers 9-8, and I'm a Bengals fan, but I got them 6-11 too. I just think it's another year away before they.
I do agree. Next year when we have this talk, the Bengals are going to be right up there and the talk with if they can improve that offensive line. I really think get Joe Burrow another year in there, and hopefully he stays healthy this year. I think they'll be really good next year. I really do.
Yeah, I think they could finish behind the Browns next year and ahead of the Ravens and Steelers both.
They really could. The Steelers are definitely on a downward.
Yes.
Well, they're going upward. I mean, definitely. So that brings us to the AFC South, which this division, there's 2 really good teams and there's 2 really bad teams right now. I mean, so last year's standings, you had Tennessee and the Colts tied at 11-5. Houston was 4-12, and Jacksonville was 1-15. Now, what happened in the offseason. Tennessee added Julio Jones. They added wide receiver Josh Reynolds. They got linebacker Bud Dupree. They drafted Des Fitzpatrick out of Louisville. They did lose Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith. So the Colts added Carson Wentz, but they lost Phillip Rivers. They added offensive tackle Eric Fisher, but they lost their starting offensive tackle Anthony Costanzo. So they didn't really do a lot. Houston, they did add Philip Lindsay. They added Mark Ingram. They added Tyrod Taylor. They drafted wide receiver Anthony Miller, and they drafted potential future quarterback Davis Mills. But they did lose J.J. Watt, wide receiver Will Fuller, wide receiver Randall Cobb, and who knows what's going on with Deshaun Watson, really. Jacksonville, they added, of course, you got to say Urban Meyer. They added him. I mean, he is a great coaching upgrade, headaches aside. They added Trevor Lawrence. They did draft Travis Etienne, which we know he's out for the year. They picked up Marvin Jones and Shaquille Griffith. They only lost Keenan Cole. So the first question I got for you guys is it just the Titans and Colts show? Is that all it is in this division?
Yes.
I mean, there's no possible way you see anything happening out of Houston and Jacksonville?
No. I don't know how Houston's going to win a game.
I agree. I really do. I felt bad for him. I gave him 2 wins. That's all I could give him is 2.
I gave him 3 somehow.
I know. It's very hard to even give them a win. But I've got Tennessee going 11-6, the Colts going 10-7, Jacksonville 3-14, and Houston 2-15. Now, Jacksonville, they're adding talent. They're not a horrible team, but they're nowhere near ready to compete. And Houston, they're a mess, a bad mess. So Joel, what do you got the standings looking like in this division? Who's going to win it? Or Jeremy, you go ahead. Joel,
I've got Tennessee at 10-7, winning the division. Mm-hmm. Colts at 9-8, Jacksonville 4-13, and Houston 3-14, which is probably too high.
Houston, yeah, anything more than 1 win, it's hard to even. I had trouble giving them 2 wins. I really did.
Yes.
And it's only because they're playing Jacksonville twice, and who knows what's going to happen in those games.
Right.
Now, week 1, I'm definitely going to say Jacksonville's going to win, only because I don't know. I just got a feeling Jacksonville's going to get off on 1 win and then just go on a huge losing streak.
Right.
So that brings me to the second question I got in this division. Who lasts longer in Jacksonville, Urban Meyer or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence by a mile.
You think so?
I think so. I don't know how long Urban's going to last down there, really. I don't know if he's cut out for the pro game.
It's going to be tough because we've seen so many college coaches do so well, go to the NFL, and it's like, no, this ain't for me. I mean, you had Steve Spurrier. Oh, shoot. Now I'm drawing a blank. I want to say his name.
Saban.
Yes, Saban went to the Dolphins, did horrible, and then come out and made this speech, I'm never leaving this program, then he's gone.
Right.
So it's like, I really love Urban. Of course, all of us, here in Ohio State, we love Urban. But I don't know if he'll make it past more than 1, maybe 2 seasons at the most. And Trevor Lawrence, they invested so much money, and he's there for the long haul. Yeah. Unless they would trade him, which, if he's a bust, no one's going to take on that salary. So he's there.
I think I'm like you. I think I honestly, I'd be surprised if Urban lasts the whole season, just this season.
That's when his mysterious headaches might pop up, when he's like, man, I need out of here. Yep. I got to go. So
might need to go spend some more time with the family.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to another AFC division we pretty much know who's going to win, barring injury. The AFC West, last year, Kansas City went 14-2. Las Vegas went 8-8. The Los Angeles went 7-9, and Denver went 5-11. So in the offseason, Kansas City added Orlando Brown. They added running back Jerick McKinnon. They added a starting guard, Joe Thuney from New England, and they lost Sammy Watkins. That's the only loss that they really had. Las Vegas, they added John Brown, Kenyon Drake, defensive end. I know I'm going to butcher this name, Yannick Ngakoue from Baltimore. cornerback Casey Howard. They did lose Nelson Aguilar, wide receiver Tyrell Williams, and their starting center Rodney Hudson. Los Angeles added Jared Cook and center Corey Linsley, and they lost Hunter Henry and defensive end Melvin Ingram. Denver added Teddy Bridgewater, cornerback Kyle Fuller, cornerback Ronald Darby. They drafted running back Javonte Williams, who looks really good, and they also drafted cornerback Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. So with that being said, can anyone possibly upset Kansas City this year in that division?
Absolutely not, unless Mahomes goes down with injury.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way. I agree with you 100% because honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even tell you, even though I should know because he came in and beat the Browns in the playoffs, what the backup's name even is because I cannot even remember who it is.
Is it still Chad Henne?
Chad Henne, yes. Okay, he's the one that crushed my dreams and made me go home crying after B-dubs that night. So, we got someone else hopping in here. Jim, what's up? Brad, the stream. What's up, Jim? Jim, we are on the AFC West right now. So okay. I just covered where they finished, what all happened. So we're going to get our predictions for the AFC West. You don't have to jump in yet if you didn't want to yet, but I've got Kansas City going 14-3. I've got Los Angeles going 10-7. I've got Denver going 9-8, and I've got Las Vegas going 5-11. So, you got a prediction for that, Jim, or do you want to wait to the next division?
I'll wait to the next division. Which one are we doing next there, Dennis?
Gotcha. We're going to skip to the NFC next because you already missed all the Browns and, you know.
Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah. Jeremy, what do you got this division looking like?
I've got Kansas City 14-3, the Chargers 10-7, Broncos 9-8, and the Raiders 8-9.
No, that's pretty close to what I got. So okay, Jim, anybody going to stop Kansas City in that division this year?
I don't see in that division. No, not a chance.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. All right, so the AFC, we got those covered now. We're going to skip to the NFC real quick here. Joel lost service, so he sent me a message, says Wi-Fi is acting up, so I'll catch up with him, get his predictions. Because I'm going to go back and watch this. I want to get your guys' predictions, and we're going to see who gets the closest on these. So we're going to go to the NFC dumpster. The NFC East. This was a horrible division last year. The winning team, Washington, was 7-9. Okay, you got the Giants went 6-10. Dallas went 6-10. Philadelphia ended up in last at 4-11-1. So Washington added Ryan Fitzpatrick. They picked up Curtis Samuel, cornerback William Jackson from the Bengals. They lost cornerback Ronald Darby, and Alex Smith retired. The Giants picked up Kenny Golladay, running back Devontae Booker. They drafted Kadarius Toney from Florida. They did lose Golden Tate. They lost starting guard Kevin Zeitler, and they lost defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson. The Cowboys added linebacker Keanu Neal from Atlanta. They drafted linebacker Micah Parsons, cornerback Kelvin Joseph, and they did lose Andy Dalton. Big loss. Philadelphia, they did add Devontae Smith from Alabama, Joe Flacco. They traded for Gardner Minshew, safety Anthony Harris. They lost Carson Wentz, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey. So the first question I will send to you, Jim, is can the Redskins repeat even though they went 7-9?
I don't think they can this year. I think with Dak back and all the moves in the division, I just don't think the Washington can win that division this year.
All right. So you got Dallas winning this division?
I do. I think they just have too much firepower. If they can bring it all together under Holmgren's second year of attempt, or third year, whatever year he's on.
All right. So you got Dallas. Then who else you got in that division? You got the Redskins. You got Eagles, Giants.
I think the Redskins will come in next in that division, followed by the Eagles and the Giants down in the bottom.
Jeremy, what do you got?
I actually have the Redskins repeating. I don't trust Dallas's defense whatsoever. I understand Dak's back. If Dak's healthy, he could possibly win MVP, but I still think Washington has the better overall team with that defense when it comes down to it.
They did pick up a couple linebackers and another starting cornerback, so they're trying, but they did have a lot of holes last year.
I think Chase Young is going to be the defensive player of the year this year.
I can see that.
He's a beast.
Yes.
So what was your standings looking like then?
I have Washington at 9-8, Dallas 8-9, the Giants 6-11, and the Eagles 5-12.
So I've got the Redskins winning the division at 9-8. Then I got Dallas and Philly, which is a flip flop at 7-10. Either one could go whatever. And I got the Giants at 3-14. I really think that's a bad guess for me on the Giants because I think they'll win more games. But when I broke it down game by game, it's just so hard to give them a win. I just don't trust Daniel Jones. I really don't. I mean, he's just, and who knows what,
Barkley.
Barkley, Barkley, you don't even know if he's going to play week 1. You don't know with him. He's never healthy, and he's such a great talent, but he's never healthy. I mean, it's just, you don't know. All right, so we got that division covered. Like I say, these shows, it's going to range from a half an hour to an hour. I mean, who knows how long each show is going to be. I mean, I know we're kind of moving kind of quick on this, but, it's not like a set time on these shows. So when you guys want to be on, if you have to leave early, if you have to jump in late like Jim did, it's no big deal. So we're going to move on to the NFC North. And last year we had the Green Bay Packers 13-3, Chicago Bears at 8-8. That's the Cleveland Browns barking there, isn't it? What the heck's going on here? Hold on, let the dogs bark. Hold on, I think I can actually. Okay. All right, so we had Green Bay went 13-3, Chicago 8-8, Minnesota 7-9, and Detroit went 5-11. So in the offseason, Green Bay added Randall Cobb, cornerback Eric Stokes out of Georgia. They got center Josh Myers from the Ohio State University. They also got wide receiver Amari Rodgers from Clemson. The only person they lost was their starting center, Corey Lindsley, so they replaced him with a great stud from Ohio State. Also, they technically kind of added Aaron Rodgers because he was kind of gone. Now he's back, so my prediction would have been a heck of a lot different when we get to that if it would have been, Jordan Love instead of Aaron Rodgers. The Bears, they added Justin Fields. They added Andy Dalton. They added running back Damian Williams from Kansas City. They picked up Desmond Trufant from Detroit. They lost Mitchell Trubisky. They lost cornerback Kyle Fuller, and they lost wide receiver Anthony Miller. The Vikings added safety Xavier Woods, cornerback Patrick Peterson, cornerback Mackenzie Alexander. They did lose Kyle Rudolph and safety Anthony Harris, who led that team in tackles with 104 last year. So that's a big loss for the Vikings. Detroit, they added Jared Goff. They lost Matt Stafford. They added Tyrell Williams and Bashard Perryman, but they lost Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. So their offseason is kind of a wash. So with all that said, and Aaron Rodgers being back, who's going to stop the Packers in that division, Jim?
Well, as much as I would love to see the Packers stop, so certain friends of mine could quit telling me how great.
Oh yeah.
I don't see anybody stopping the Packers. The only person I think can stop the Packers is Aaron Rodgers when he leaves next year.
Right. So yeah, the only person that's going to stop the Packers is the Packers themselves, basically.
Yeah.
I go to your practice.
So, all right. So my prediction for this division, we got Green Bay at 13-4, Minnesota 9-8. I got the Bears at 7-10, and Detroit at 4-13. What do you got, Jeremy?
I've got Green Bay at 12-5, the Vikings at 7-10, the Bears 6-11, and the Lions 2-15.
Same position there. What do you got, Jim?
As much as I'd like to say Minnesota is going to take second, I'm going to go ahead and go with my Buckeye heart and take the Bears second, the Vikings third, and Detroit in the cellar.
So we all basically saying Packers are going to run away with this division. So topic 2 on this division is when will Justin Fields see the field?
I think within the first 4 games.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, he's looked so dynamic in the preseason. Granted, it's only the preseason, but I mean, Andy Dalton isn't in Cincinnati for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no later than week 5, but it should probably be before that.
Yeah,
I'm going with no more than 3. Week 3, he's going to be in there because Dalton's going to come in there and start sucking it up like he always does. But then who knows? I mean, Dalton with an actual good team around him, who knows? I mean, he didn't actually do horrible in Cincinnati until the end. I mean, he did take him to the playoffs. I don't know how many years.
Can't win
he just couldn't win the playoffs, right? I mean, the Bengals haven't won the playoffs since 1990. I can say that so nice now since the Browns actually won a playoff game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the longest drought in football is the Bengals in 1990, the last time they won a playoff game. I'm pretty sure.
Back when you had hair.
I think I did have some hair. Thanks. I did have hair back then. Yes. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Dennis.
So Aaron Rodgers, I've got 2 pages full of records, and I definitely cannot mention all these records, but he has 26 career NFL records, and he has 38 single season / game records. And like, it's just amazing when you look at all these records that he has. And I can't go over them all, obviously. We don't have time. We'd be here for a couple hours. But it's just to think of what he's did. And how many, he sat for, 2 or 3 years when he got drafted behind Brett Favre.
I think it was 4. Didn't he sit for 4 years?
It could have been 4 years. I don't know how many years it was.
It was a long time.
It was a long time when he sat, and it's just like you started to wonder, is he ever going to do anything with his career? Now it's looking at this like he's got 26 NFL records, 38 single season game records. I mean, it's amazing. And then to think what my prediction would have been if it was Jordan Love at quarterback this year, or whoever they would have picked up in a trade or free agent. You never know, but. They're definitely going to win that division. I mean, there's a lot of people. Even see predicting them go to the Super Bowl, which is very, pretty easy to see in the NFC. So we'll do the NFC South next. Last year you had the Saints win the division at 12-4. Tampa Bay, which is the Super Bowl champs, was second at 11-5. Carolina was 5-11, and Atlanta finished last at 4-12. So Tampa Bay, the only thing they did this offseason was pick up Giovanni Bernard, and they lost LaShawn McCoy. Joel's back. Let me add him back in real quick. What's up, Joel? Back.
What's up?
We are on the NFC South right now. So I just mentioned Tampa Bay. The only thing they did in the offseason was pick up Giovanni Bernard. They lost LaShawn McCoy. The Saints added wide receiver Chris Hogan. That's the only thing they really did. They did lose Drew Brees to retirement. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. They lost tight end Jared Cook. Carolina added Sam Darnold and lost Teddy Bridgewater. And Carolina also lost running back Mike Davis and Curtis Samuel. Atlanta, the only thing they really added was Kyle Pitts and running back Mike Davis. They did lose Julio Jones, Todd Gurley, and linebacker Keanu Neal. So the question I've got for everybody is, can the Saints repeat without Drew Brees?
No.
You say no? What you got, Joel?
No. Tampa Bay is going to win.
Jim?
Yeah, I think without Brady in the division, they could. But with Brady in that division, I don't think so.
You think they're even going to be a good team, though, without Drew Brees, with Jameis Winston?
I think Winston could throw the ball, and he's had time to, be under a coach that's reputable and can actually maybe show him something, where in Tampa at that point in time, he could just do whatever he wanted, and he did, and never had to listen.
Yeah.
I think they'll be a good team, honestly. I don't think they're going to be better than the Bucs, but I think they'll be second in the division for sure. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen certain places picking Jameis Winston to lead the league in passing yardage.
I mean, I can 100% see it.
Because of the system that he's in and the talent that and now I'm sure that a lot has to do with Michael Thomas actually wanting to play there. But, even without them, I think he'll still be good. But I've got Tampa Bay win the division at 13-4. The Saints are 11-6. Carolina at 6-11. Atlanta at 5-12. What do you got, Jeremy, for that division?
Yeah. Well, I got pretty much like you. I got Tampa Bay at 13-4. I got New Orleans at 9-8. Carolina 6-11, and Atlanta 5-12. I think the Saints will be the last playoff team in the NFC.
Could be. Jim, you got a prediction on this division?
I kind of got to go with you on this one. I think it's pretty much top to bottom what we expect it's going to be.
All right. Joel?
I'm the same with all you guys.
Okay. Now, the second question I got in this division, is there too many mouths to feed in Tampa Bay this year? Running back, you got Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, Giovanni Bernard. Wide receiver, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. You got Gronkowski. Is there going to be ego problems in this division?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Just because I don't know. I think they got a taste of that winning, and for some reason, when you got Tom Brady and winning, things just kind of go together easily.
Yeah, it's going to be just fine. I think they're going to be fine. They're not going to care about stats. It's going to be about winning, and they'll do a lot of that again.
I think Tom Brady will probably have a lot to do with that. He's going to, be that leader that tells them, don't worry about the stats. Let's get me another ring.
Yep.
All about the ring at the end of the year.
Yep, it sure is. All right, so the last division we have here is the NFC West. Last season, you had Seattle go 12-4. You had Los Angeles go 10-6. You had Arizona 8-8. San Francisco 6-10. Seattle added tight end Gerald Everett. They picked up guard Gabe Jackson from the Raiders. They did lose linebacker KJ Wright, who over the last 10 years with that team has averaged 95 tackles a year. They lost cornerback Shaquille Griffith and defensive tackle Jaron Reed. The Rams added Matt Stafford, but they did lose Jared Goff. They added Deshaun Jackson. They lost their starting safety John Johnson to the Browns. Arizona did pick up A.J. Green, James Conner, J.J. Watt. They drafted wide receiver Rondale Moore out of Purdue. They did lose Larry Fitzgerald, Kenyon Drake, and cornerback Patrick Peterson. 49ers drafted Trey Lance, Trey Sermon running back. They picked up a good starting center at Alex Mack. They lost Richard Sherman, Tevin Coleman, and Jerick McKinnon. So I ask you guys, name one team in this division that you can't see making the playoffs with the talent that they have.
San Francisco.
You don't think the 49ers can make the playoffs with the talent they've got?
Well, I mean, you got to pick one.
You got to pick one. That's true. Okay.
And when I look at the talent on the other teams, I got to go with the other ones. I mean, who knows how long before Trey Lance is in there as the quarterback? And which Garoppolo are we getting? So I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up. I mean, but if I had to pick one out of those ones, I think that it's got to be San Francisco.
Joel, who you got?
Well, yeah, I think you just got to look at the best quarterback, and I think Trey Lance is not. You don't know when he's going to come in. I mean, yeah, San Francisco's got a great defense, but so does everyone else in that division. And look at the quarterbacks in that division. So I think all four of them almost could be potentially playing for a playoff spot, but the 49ers, I think they're about a year or two away waiting for Trey Lance to develop.
I mean, you mentioned quarterbacks. So, I mean, Matt Stafford, you think he's going to be a fit with the Rams better than Jared Goff?
Oh, I do, actually. I think they'll be in the hunt for the playoffs. They're got a really good defense. He's got a lot more options now with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. It sucks that Cam Akers is out, but they just brought in Sony Michel. So, I mean, he's going to have a lot more options in Los Angeles. He's not going to be in from behind, I don't think, a lot.
Any team that's got Aaron Donald Aaron Donald just instantly makes you a playoff team right off the bat, too.
Right. I mean, you just got to think of that.
So, Jeremy, what do you think? Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say he's had offense over the years. That's never been the issue. But he's got a defense to back him up now. So I think that gives them a bigger leg up.
Yep. Jeremy, what's your thoughts on this division? Who's not making the playoffs out of those four?
Out of those four, it would be the Cardinals.
Think so?
I think the other three are going to make the playoffs.
I mean, some people are calling this the best division in football, and they think not one team's going to have a losing record in this division. I mean, it's kind of hard to see everybody having a winning record. Which, now that I say that, I look at my predictions, and I do have everybody having a winning record. But I've got Seattle at 12-5, Los Angeles 11-6, Arizona 11-6, and San Francisco at 9-8. So,
not bad at all.
I mean, what's your standings, Jim? What do you got in this division?
Well, I put San Francisco in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I think Stafford's got a chance just to be different. I'll take the Rams up front.
Mm-hmm.
Then Seattle second with Arizona running third, a tight third. It's going to be a race all the way to the last couple of weeks, regardless, I think.
Oh, it will. It's going to be a close division. Joel, who's won that division for you?
I'd have to say Seattle, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're so established. I think DK Metcalf coming back. He just got another year. I mean, they're going to be forced to be reckoned with. Seattle, forced to be reckoned with. You know, I think it'll go Seattle, Rams, Cardinals be fighting to get in the playoffs, and then the 49ers, they'll be out.
Okay, Jeremy, did you give me your prediction on this division?
No, I got the Rams winning at 12-5. I got the Seahawks 11-6, 49ers 10-7, and Arizona 8-9. And I'm like everybody else. I think it's going to be down to the last couple of weeks with all this.
Yeah. All right. So now here's the hard question for everybody. We're going to Jeremy first. Who's going to the Super Bowl and who's winning the Super Bowl?
I have the Bills beating the Rams 23-20.
Bills and the Rams. Ooh.
Whew. Good one.
Jim, what do you got?
Wow, that honestly have no clue.
I
think Tom will make it back.
Okay.
In the NFC. There's a good chance we may just see a repeat Super Bowl this year. As much as I want to say the Browns will be there.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes, and he's got a lot of talent and everything around him. So I'm going to go with the repeat Super Bowl, but this year, Tom taking the L.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Joel, what do you got?
Ooh. Man. So, I think it'll be – we're going to see the Browns go against old Tom Brady, take him down. Do you think so?
Browns and Buccaneers, huh?
Browns taking down the Bucs. Even though I really hate to say it, just me being honest. If Baker can play good, they can play like they did last year. They'll be all right in the playoffs. I mean, we'll see though.
I like your prediction.
It's really hard for me to predict too, because I've got to pick the Browns because I mean on paper you can't argue that even Kansas City, the Browns have a better team on paper. Now get into the playoffs, that's a totally different story. But I'm going with Browns and Packers.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I think this will be the first time ever we see the Browns win a Super Bowl, and probably the only time we ever see it. God, that's a bad prediction. It's not going to happen. That's what I'm sticking with.
Hey, I was going to pick the Bills, but I didn't want to be the same as Jeremy. So,
Yeah.
I do have the Browns in the championship game, just losing to the Bills.
Okay, we got the championship game at least. All right.
Yeah. That's what it should have been last year, the Browns and the Bills in the championship, if they didn't choke at the end and
absolutely
take advantage when Mahomes got hurt. I mean, they should have done it, but they didn't do it. That's over with.
I think the Browns got a great chance, man. I really do. I hate it. Yeah, and then Tom Brady's going to make another run.
Yeah, Tom Brady, you can never count him out no matter what. I mean, he goes to the freaking Buccaneers and takes them to the Super Bowl, and I mean, it's crazy. So that's really all I have for the NFL predictions. Thank you all for being on here tonight. I really appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time out here tonight and being on here. But next week, this show is supposed to be focused on baseball, and I just want to do this because we got football kicking off this week, and everybody's in football mode right now. But next week we're going to talk some fantasy baseball. we're going to do fantasy baseball's biggest busts. I'm going to break it down by position, do top 5 or top 10, whatever. We'll start with catcher and work our way through it. We're going to do the top busts of fantasy baseball this year, and there's a lot of them. Trust me. We all, well, not Joel, but we play, and I've got plenty of them on my team. So we'll also cover what happened in week 1 because we'll be back on Tuesday night, so we can cover all of week 1's football. We're getting closer to basketball. We can start covering that here soon. But again, the show will mostly focus on baseball. So anytime you guys want to be on here, you just let me know. You can be on here every week. I can have up to 10 people on this little tiny screen here, 10 people plus myself, so we can have as many people in here and make it a great show. Again, check out our sponsor. I put it on the thing here on the tracker. Let me put it back on there so you can see it. Make sure you guys please go follow Blue Collar Media Group. They're the ones that's making this possible. They are my sponsor for gaming and for on here, and we're going to keep this show going as long as we keep getting interest in it. Anything you guys see that you want us talking about, get on Facebook. I got a page on there. It's on Twitter. Just comment what you'd like to see, ideas for the show. I've had a few people message me today, some funny things they'd like us to do, so we're going to get into that. But again, make sure everybody check out the show next week. We'll be back on around 7 o'clock next week. And thanks again, guys, for being on here.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you guys too. See ya.